The PNM has already selected its 15 candidates. Well, those were 6 AM News headlines. We'll have another news update at the top of the hour, right here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network.
The Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.
Tuesday morning, running into your brand new day. Today, Tuesday, the 7th of October, 2025. Jason, J.W. Williams, yes. Signing on, locking in, and ready to go with the amazing team. Lots to unpack, and as always, inside the second hour, we touch base with Karen Rose, our digipreneur, then later on that conversation on cancer. The second hour, definitely we streamline that second hour on a Tuesday every single week, and it's going to be impactful conversations. We touch base to get some perspective on the budget. Of course, the chamber there in San Fernando, Kiran Singh, he's going to check in with me, and as always, what's the big story, of course, via the political scene is that, portfolio reassignment, and Dr. Shane will step in also to give some perspective in that regard. But in the meantime, let's touch base and see what's happening via the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian on this Tuesday morning. And based on the reshuffle, as it were, the reassignment, the purview of prison is now, well, at least the prison is now in the purview, under the purview of Minister of Homeland Security, Roger Alexander, who said he would have had some oversight prior to this official statement, and with this new, I would say, more room to get things done, he suggests here now that the army is to be called into the prisons, and he promises sweeping changes to arrest the rot in the TNT jails. We have known for a long time that there is, well, clearly issues within the system, not only as it pertains to the judicial, that judicial process. That's a whole different conversation. We're dealing here, of course, with the actual prison system itself. And this particular building, not fit for purpose. It's been here for 2 centuries, rock of ages. Because even this facility here, Golden Grove, since I'm a little boy, going to check mommy's friend, Miss Harry, and backseat of the car, that never changed. That looked the same way since I remember it from the 80s. So lots of these buildings, it's already past its lifespan, and they're looking to ramp up. And I guess not only create more humane conditions for those who have to face the courts and get a judgment, but generally just the protection of the said space, and I guess the equipment that's needed, not only manpower, but I would imagine the technology, the cell blockers and all these different systems are going to bring in, the anti-drone systems that could obviously put a halt, because what I'm seeing here via the numbers is quite alarming. Prison Boss reports more than 626 drone sightings since April. Again, this is from the Acting Prisons Commissioner, Hayden Forder. But it's a full page. I was baffled when I saw the figure last evening, and they were making mention of this in the news. 626 drone sightings. That is a cause for serious concern. And I mean, obviously, people find ways and means of getting stuff behind the walls. Back in the day, folks will, do the unthinkable, right? And lodge things within themselves. Obviously, got a little more sophisticated over the years, where folks will have different personnel bringing stuff in. I mean, they have found all kind of ways and means. I've seen ways to smuggle. It's it's incredible when they go to different, seminars. They show you prison. Just talk to any prison officer. They will tell you whatever you could think of. They find a way to get it in. People cut bottles in terms of like plastic bottles with you. It looking like a soft drink. The top shaking, but the bottom, look now, real innovation. It's over and beyond, and clearly, well, the use of technology with the drones. It's been the recent push and attempt to get contraband and other items behind the walls, and obviously geofencing, and as I mentioned, the anti-drone technology is a major part of the pushback on that kind of behavior. And I'm hoping that the Homeland Security Minister will be given the resources, the room to implement these much needed changes, and to give the prison officers, the men and women who dedicate themselves and put their life at risk, the support that they need. I'm looking at another development, as mentioned. We will get a chance to unpack this one later this morning. Philip Alexander defends PM's realignment of housing portfolio. As you know, that particular ministry, 3 ministers, Minister Lee, and of course 2 junior ministers. We have Minister Alexander and Minister Roberts. And more or less, some ministers are suggesting that the reassignments, not so much a surprise. It was something discussed during cabinet meetings in the weeks prior. So this is not a surprise for many on the inside, but for many looking on, it was like, well, okay, already they're doing some shifting. Okay, let's see what's happening. So, as mentioned, to unpack that development, Professor, Shane, Dr. Shane will join me. He's professor. Always look forward to Shane Mohammed touching base. So he's stepping in this morning. I got my personalities mixed up there. I was thinking about Professor Hussein, who steps in always when we discuss matters concerning the economy. So we're hearing that there's a date floating around. We're hearing that it might be the 13th. That is what many are suggesting. So that obviously is going to be next Monday. Of course, nothing confirmed just yet, but government sources say it's more than likely October 13th, the budget date after online post causes confusion. That story here on page 4 inside the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. And in terms of the drone development and the sightings and all the details in that regard, it's on page 5, right below the story of the Minister of Homeland Security, who is again suggesting the sweeping changes to the TNT prison system. Well, we get ready for a very crucial World Cup qualifier on Friday. Let's take the focus to the back page. Coach Dwight York, he is stepping into what is a must-win. This is a make or break, not only for the team, but I would even imagine for his particular role at the top. Obviously, he wants to continue in the football world, continue in the realm, and continue in the space. From now, the coaching perspective, he would have had his stint out there in Australia. And of course, he's bringing it back home. And hopefully with the success of our World Cup qualification, taking our team there, I'm sure other doors will open up for Coach Dwight York. So this is, I think, personal. I think it is on a national level. This is do or die. And this game against Bermuda on Friday, it's very critical. Now, with his provisional squad, there was no room for Philip and Jones. He left out 2 key players, marquee players who would have been there before. And again, he calls up 26 for the Bermuda-Curacao clash. So no room there for Daniel Jones, who, a matter of fact, was in full flight when we started the campaign a couple weeks ago. That game that ended goalless between Trinidad and Tobago and Curacao. And, well, that's our Defense Force midfielder. Thomas, well, we have Thomas not there, and defender Alvin Jones not there. A couple guys, I guess left out of the squad, probably trying something new. We'll see how things pan out, but nonetheless, whether who's there, who's not there, the bottom line remains, this next couple of days, it's going to be the most critical for Trinidad and Tobago's football in the last, I would say, nearly 2 decades. It is, of paramount importance that we get a result in Bermuda and we go to Curacao right after and do the same. That will now put us in a position at least to dictate our pace, to be the authors of our own destiny when we come up against Jamaica here at home, and finally Bermuda. That will be the final 2 games. So at least it's 2 home games, but critical to us going forward is the 2 away games, and of course the first being that game against Bermuda on Friday. Well, proud moment, Premiership Player of the Year, Leanne Kirby. Congratulations, all smiles on the back page. Let's give her that full screen treatment this morning. And we want to say congrats to you. This was all part of the TNT Cricket Board 2025 National Award ceremony. It took place at the National Cycling Velodrome in Balmain, on Sunday afternoon. So congrats to not only Leanne, but all Ram Barak and everybody who would have been mentioned and who went up to receive their awards. Congratulations indeed. We head to the brief on this Tuesday morning and see what's happening. And it's a call from a pundit who says foreign influences eroding TNT culture. And to you, I say, well said, to be quite honest. That's Pundit Ganga Prasad, executive member of the National Council of Indian Culture. It's something that's been going on for quite a while. Huh? Yes, we hold on to what is ours, but lots of the influence via social media, mainstream media, the music, the clothes, a lot of us look towards outside, and we have so much talent here. We have so much homegrown, self-made, creative people who are able to step up. And there are many Trinbagonians too, to be quite honest, in all fairness, who give the local a chance. But for some reason, there seems to be this particular prestige attached with everything that's foreign. And to you, Pundit, I want to thank you for bringing that talking point again to light. Well, back to the brief. Let's put this full page. Yet again, rain in Port of Spain, and a mother and daughter having to do the unthinkable, step through the murky waters. It says, one step at a time, a woman guides a child through flood waters. This is on Sunday with the heavy rain. And you're not surprised. Yes, there was work done. They did some work by Citygate. Let's be fair. But no matter how much work you do, it will always be undermined because of our terrible ways, which goes right back to littering and how we treat with the environment and the water courses and the waterways. Bottles, fridge, stove, tree. You saw what happened, what's going on up there in Laventil. I'll show you the footage. What's going to happen if that washed down from the hill and end up in the water course? So you can't be cutting stuff and putting it on the side of the road or pelting stuff out the window and to expect us to go through a flooding issue. And again, let's be real. The city, it's right next to the ocean there. It's reclaimed land, so sometimes high tide. There are other factors too that come at play. It's multiple limbs of consideration when we have to treat with a flood. But part of it is also self-sabotage based on how we conduct ourselves and the outer time and behavior. When I see people littering, I really feel like I want to say something or do something, but then people so wrong and strong, this wrongs here. You might speak up, and next thing they want to confront you, and the thing escalates, and it's a whole shambles. So most times we see someone doing something out of place. A lot of us stay quiet. We don't want to say anything because you don't want to interrupt or disrupt your frequency and your whole momentum. But I think we have to really start speaking up. And I think if more folks lend their voice and call for us to do the right thing, we'll see the country going places. As we head to the break, they've always said doing the right thing is doing it when nobody's looking. It's not because people have a fine-tooth comb or they have lens on you. You have to just treat with the environment with a level of respect, and the environment will treat with you the same way. So, really sad to see mom and daughter having to negotiate on a big cool Sunday afternoon, your foot wet, all your jeans, oh gosh. Folks, great to see you, as always. It's Tuesday. Let's get into the budget discussion, budget recommendations. My friend from the Southland, Kiran Singh, he joins me live. Well, a matter of fact, on the Zoom line, but we deal with budget 2025-2026. It's up next.
has a massive sale on roofing materials, including standing seam. Invest in durable roofing sheets at unbeatable prices. Choose our supply and installation package and enjoy huge savings on your roof. Quality materials, quality prices, quality workmanship. Our name says it all. Built to last, for roofing that is built to last. We will not be beaten on price. Enjoy free delivery and free roll forming on standing seam and guttering on site. Call us now, 355-7703.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Do you think all dishwashing soaps are the same? With some, do require more effort, and they don't wash as much. Try Dawn and discover its grease cleaning power. Dawn removes stubborn grease easier and faster than others. Additionally, it foam lasts 50% more. With Dawn, you use less product to clean more dishes and save with every wash. Dawn, triple grease cleaning power.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Let the divine lights of the Dias bring victory over darkness into your life. Happy Diwali to all. A message from Kaleidoscope Paints Limited.
President of the Greater San Fernando Area Chamber of Commerce, Kiran Singh, joins me on the Zoom line to discuss budget 2025-2026. I'm kind of happy, Kiran, that we have a pushed back budget more or less because we didn't get a chance to do our discussion as per usual last week. So at least we're given a little more time. We're hearing now the date might be Monday the 13th, not confirmed just yet, but whether it's the 13th or after, we must have the important conversations prior. Hopefully, the powers that be, they are listening and they can take some recommendations. And I know you have many to share with us this morning. As always, great to see you, Kiran. Good morning.
Good morning, Jason. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, it's always a pleasure to be on CNC3 Morning Brew.
That's right.
To entertain some discussion.
Indeed. And in that regard, I want to start things off with a topic you have brought forward on numerous occasions: ease of doing business. How could the budget assure that the agencies charged to ensure that there is smooth process, less bureaucracy? And we're talking from the ports right back to just registering a business or dealing with taxes. How could we start that process to ensure there is an ease of doing business?
Well, Jason, you would know that we've spoken many times about the bureaucratic red tape, as you say, from the port, with customs, with entries, with import, with export, with imports, the BIR and several other state agencies. And we have been calling for digitization of these agencies to fast track the processing of data, of entry information. What we notice is that our ranking and ease of doing business on the world scale is extremely low. We have been falling as opposed to increasing our ranking. And it doesn't say a lot for where we stand as a country. And if we digitize the process, we can improve. Speaking with customs again, we belabor the point that small entries require certified checks, and you can't use a credit card. There's no wire transfer. You can't do online banking. It stymies the process. It frustrates the business as it an extent. But more than that, Jason, what we want to suggest in the upcoming budget is that the government form a department or a bureau, some sector that is dedicated to the SMEs, an SME department, to ensure that all the issues and concerns are raised, are directed solely at one area within the ministry that can deal with all the concerns that the SMEs have, and that can put us on the front burner. We remain, Jason, as the largest employer of workers after the government, and we certainly contribute a significant portion to the GDP. And in that regard, we should be given that level of expectation to come from the ministry. If we get a department dedicated solely to the SMEs, that can probably assist the process of everything that we have, because right now it's shared between several ministries. You go for a license to import a particular product, you're not sure where to go, who to speak to. And we need to correct these issues that we face within the ministry. And maybe this is something that the government should explore as one of the tools to improve the ease of doing business. Because to even register a company, it can be quite time-consuming. And it shouldn't be. Right in North America, it takes literally a few minutes to register the name of a company, and in Trinidad, how long it takes.
Yeah, so you're talking about streamlining the process, as it were. I know you mentioned the small business, the SMEs. I know there's NEDCO, and they deal with, people who want to start off and get their break, but you're talking something a little more to enhance probably what's there, or a whole new structure you're talking about when you mention creating an agency to help with the SMEs.
Yeah, I don't think there's a department specifically geared towards the SMEs. I stand corrected if that is so, but we certainly want to see that happen from a state perspective, from the government side, and the private sector, the business sector could work together with the government to move the process forward. It's been slow. It's been too slow, where business people can become frustrated in how to invest, especially in the challenging economic times that we have. Yeah. We want to see the opening of the refinery. We know that the government has set up a committee, and we expect that the budget will make some announcement on where that goes in terms of a time frame of where we reach with the refinery operation being reopened. We know it can't start on time, but what will happen is that it will create that confidence. The downstream industries will start re-employing workers. The investment in machinery will start. That will start the multiplier effect for the southern economy that we so desperately need. Yeah. Our economy has slowed down, and that is also something that can be used to harness that economic idle asset and bring that net foreign exchange over the medium term. And while we wait on that, of course, we look at we continue the conversation of diversification, which has to be taken more seriously. I believe the minister did speak to that recently about diversification has to be given more attention, and we expect to hear that in the budget. And in San Fernando and in the southern region in particular, we have so many idle assets. We should focus on the services sector as opposed to we have been speaking, of course, on agriculture and tourism, and we know where we're going with that. But one sector that hasn't been given the attention that we think can derive that this hidden treasure that we have in South Trinidad, the services sector, especially the creative services, can bring net foreign exchange, because we'll be using our local human capital, our local resources that doesn't require foreign-based inputs to generate foreign exchange on a net basis. We have music, arts, culture, the orange economy. We have ecotourism. All these assets can generate that income, but we need the assistance to demonstrate to the public that we can be an asset that where foreigners can come and enjoy our local culture. The cruise ships, we need to, if they can come to San Fernando, the yachties. We live in our country is geographically based in a very positive location in terms of the hurricane belt, the earthquakes, and so on. And it's a natural harbor for yachties and the cruise ships. Unfortunately, when hurricanes hit the islands recently, they all look to Trinidad and Tobago for safe harbor. We can exploit these initiatives. The dry dock facility. We have a lot of facilities that are idle in San Fernando. that can generate this foreign exchange that we so desperately need in Trinidad, Jason.
Indeed, strong recommendations, and many will always speak to the potential of the maritime product, and as you mentioned, the orange economy. And I could safely say that South, even Central to an extent, it's now the entertainment capital of Trinidad, because on any given weekend, there is every single pub and bar and watering hole in the Southland is packed to the rafters with people just looking to be out and about. And you're finding people from Port of Spain now making the trot to the Southland, to Lime. And that's just the reality of the day. So it's to tap in and to cash in. I want to ask you, though, I want to go back to that bureaucracy and sometimes the bottlenecks that people experience with the ease of doing business. I wonder if this is by design and it's done intentionally to more or less force the hand of the business community to pay a fee, to pass that envelope under the table to get the job done, or bring people from the back of the class to the front of the class. What's been the experience from fellow business interests in that regard? People having to sometimes grease the wheel to get things done.
Jason, unfortunately, this is the system that we've been dealing with in Trinidad and Tobago for decades. This is not a new phenomenon. When you're in business, it's an unwritten law, if I could use that phrase, that if you want certain entries into the country, you have to do certain things to get your goods on time delivered to your place of destination, or to have your container stuffed, or to have it scanned and sanitized by customs before it leaves the port. And if we don't stop that kind of system from happening, it will continue. You will hear the customs talking about they're understaffed. So digitize the process. So the human element is not that significant in terms of how we can clear the containers in time, how we can fast track goods that need to be part of the manufacturing process, part of the agricultural process. Mm-hmm. Because if we don't do that, we're going to end up we will continue on this road of non-progressive action by doing the same thing over and over and complaining about it, but not getting any positive results, because we're not doing anything to change the system. Yeah. And that is what we need to do. The budget is not only a financial statement, but it should speak to the elements that will drive the economic factors that determine income generation in the country for the next financial year, and of course sets the foundation for future budgets and gives the country an expectation of where the government is thinking in terms of revenue generation, how they're going to improve how we do business in this country. And it sets the parameters for international players to realize that we are serious about doing business, and that we can open the envelope and show the world that we are ready for business, we are open, we're ready to take up the challenges. Because unless we improve the ease of doing business, we're not going to attract that much needed foreign investor onto our shores. We need to do things differently to enhance our business product in this country. President
Singh, I must say, spot on. I interpret what you just said as the budget being a statement almost of intent to show what is the plan in the short, medium, and long term. And in that regard, as we wrap things up, are you optimistic? Do you feel that the budget will indeed reflect the interests of the business community, small, medium, the large businesses? Do you feel a sense that this is a pivotal moment for us to do what's right, so we could again have a collective breath and just see Trinidad get back to a place of a vibrant economic structure? What's your feeling, your gut feeling, getting as we stand by for this budget 2025-2026?
Jason, we go on based on what the ministers have been saying in the media, the public domain, that they are focused on business. They're focused on the budget bringing new adaptations to drive the economy. And we look forward to hear those announcements within the coming days on what the budget will focus on for monetary policy adjustment, the fiscal policy. We want to suggest that lower interest rate regimes for those that fall within the SME sector some sort of tax incentives for those, especially that in the export generation manufacturing process or providing services through fintech or data technology. All these service centers we can offer and are available. Members in San Fernando have been speaking that these type of services are available. But
President Singh, what about tax amnesties? Any consideration in that regard? That could help out right now?
It has been. We know that tax amnesties have been offered by over the last several years, and of course we would ask for that to continue. That brings to the point. The BIR was recently given some additional regulatory powers, and we hope that will reduce the leakages that happens through loopholes that unfortunately some unscrupulous corporations, the large corporations in this country, not the SME sector, that take advantage of and not pay their taxes and not pay it on time, and then they benefit from the tax amnesty, which can be a benefit, of course, because then the government adds to the coffers and the treasury of that finance that we need. But give the amnesty, and after that, crack down on those. Follow the example of the IRS. They were able to crack down on hardcore criminals because they weren't paying their taxes. So while we're focusing on the physical crimes, maybe the BIR can focus on the white-collar crimes that continue to affect us in a very negative way. And we only hear and talk about the money laundering and the drug cartels, but what is being done from the tax side, maybe that is something that could be explored in further detail as a fiscal policy regime in the next budget, Jason.
Indeed. Well said. I always talk about yes, there is a particular menace that comes with the gun and the firearm, but there's also a menace that comes with the pen, and people who shift the goalposts, as it were, via the pen can cause serious problem and upheaval in any society. As we wrap things up, I'll let you have the closing say, President Singh.
Jason, I just want to talk for the budget. Women, there's something, period poverty, which we know about. It's affecting a lot of women in this country. And we ask that the government to look at tax incentives for products for women who need these things during particular times of their cycles and monthly periods and so on, to assist them. It's a serious problem, period poverty in this country, and we ask for that to be looked at in a more significant way. And as we close, we ask the government, of course, again, to treat with the SMEs in a more serious way. San Fernando has a lot to offer from budgetary expectations. We have the resources that can be utilized in a very positive manner to generate that much needed foreign exchange and even national revenue to enhance the entire GDP of this country. And we really expect that the government, having spoken so positively in the last few weeks about change and adapting to the economic conditions that we currently face, we will hear some more positive results coming out of it. The Prime Minister just returned from Washington, where she declared that the Dragon gas deal is back on, and this will inspire confidence that we so desperately need to generate that investment into the economy, not only locally, but from abroad, to enhance our local product that we can offer on a global scale to the country, to the world.
President Singh, as always, a sincere thanks, and let's have a post-budget conversation. So after the 13th, if indeed that's the case, if that's the day, I'm sure next week or week after we'll touch base again. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
That's right, President Kiran Singh, the president of the Greater San Fernando Area Chamber of Commerce. Up next, political analyst Dr. Shane Mohammed, as we treat with the portfolio reassignments. Let's get some perspective from Dr. Mohammed next.
The detergent smells nice while washing, but when you use the new Downy Intense fabric softener, with its new multi-capsule fragrance, it releases an intense scent that lasts twice as long. With the new Downy Intense, you'll enjoy a rich and delightful fragrance that keeps you feeling fresh 24/7.
Ho, 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 ho. Start the season sweet with Jimmy Abood's annual Christmas and October sale. Get up to 60% off on curtains, sheet sets, floor mats, upholstery fabric, and more. Shop now at the last big sale of the year.
Need to upgrade to a better phone system? Contact the experts at Voice Outsourcing. In office or remote, our phone system allows you to take every call. Grow your bottom line by offering excellent customer service. Call 217-1895 or 628-8182 or email today.
You can make your goals unfold, go get it. You can live your dream, join the team, let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Rand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Rand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Whether you're an athlete, a business professional, or simply someone who values their health, Omega XL can empower you to keep doing what you love. Don't let joint discomfort hold you back.
Live long, stay strong with the XL brand.
Muscle Russell.
Political analyst Dr. Shane Mohammed joins me on the Zoom line. Dr. Mohammed, great to see you as always. I look forward to perspective this morning. All the best.
Morning, thank you. How are you?
All is well, all is well. I want to ask you as we get into the discussion immediately, the portfolio reassignments, going through the archives, looking at the political history, is there any particular comparison or any moment where there would have been a reassignment so early into a new administration's tenure?
I don't know if I could recall specifically the massive realignment in early terms. Maybe when Mr. Pandey came into office in 1995, and there was that historic shift from the years of PNM rule to UNC rule, Mr. Pandey would have done some significant realignments and creations of some new ministries back then that would have aligned with his leadership vision and his governance vision to Trinidad and Tobago. So, that is where I think that early level of alignment would have happened. But even so, that would have been done even earlier than it was done in this instance. I think the results of the general election, the outcome, really and truly not only shook, it didn't shake just the current opposition, but it also surprised the current administration with regard to the numbers and the overwhelming numbers that was received from the goodwill of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So, not, it is what it is. It comes with when one wants to create legacy and one has a vision upon some early reflections, observations. This is expected.
Well, speaking about the legacy, let's go to the top right now. The Prime Minister taking responsibility for certain national and housing development projects. What's your perspective on that? Taking direct control of that, is this part of some alignment with her particular legacy, the ethos of being this caring, motherly Prime Minister? What's the reasoning you think behind that kind of adjustment?
I think one of the things one has to consider is exactly what you say, that the characteristics of the Prime Minister has not shifted away from she hasn't moved away from being compassionate and being considerate and understanding the needs of the most vulnerable. That's something that has always been very dear to her, and we saw it in the first incarnation with her being Prime Minister, and in this incarnation, it's not just about. I see it, the alignment, as a very early approach to performance management and how one is taking the time to observe how ministers perform, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, not just in ministers, but in the whole governance framework. considering that the government has to work within a framework that is 49 years old from, in terms of the Republican Constitution and the rules and regulations of the public service, the framework of the cabinet, how, what is the remit, what is the leverage that the Prime Minister has to work with. So the realignment of certain social services, even policies under housing that are geared to being people-centric, even going a step further to self-help, coming under the remit of the Prime Minister, is the Prime Minister having a direct say and having not to get a report from a minister and ask a minister, why is this not working, or minister, why is that not working, but rather saying, you know what, just bring it under me. This is legacy time. This is where I, even the answer to the outfit that she wore, that, I feel that is superficial to ask a Prime Minister about the outfit that he or she is wearing. The answer to that, the bottom line is the response was a clear indication, if people are still doubting that this is a different type of Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, and using her words, not mine, that Kamla Prasad-Bissessar 2.0 is the same person that left in 2015. These are just signals of what she envisions for Trinidad and Tobago in that legacy pathway that she's on.
So let me take it now to agriculture. I mean, we look at Minister Saddam Hussein, who is a junior minister in that particular ministry, but he's now given the responsibility of land and legal affairs. Well, reclassified now as Ministry of Land and Legal Affairs, and he's going to lead in that regard. So junior minister, but still given some oversight, as it were, to a major aspect of that ministry. Your perspective in that regard?
Well, remember, this is not the first time that the Prime Minister has had a vision that land matters as it pertains to land management should be separate and apart, because there was a Ministry of Land Management and something else that was created in the latter part of the 2010 to 2015 term. But however, I want to add that this is the creation of a new ministry, because the alignment of the schedule for the Ministry of Legal Affairs, and I guess it's Land and Legal Affairs, is also an indication that Minister Hussein has been able in the last 6 months, I can't even say the last 6 months, the last 5 months, to, impress the Prime Minister with so to speak, and there's some level of interaction between himself and the Prime Minister, whether he's seeking guidance, whether he's providing advice, whether he's showing interest in matters that are also very critical to the Prime Minister in terms of how the portfolio of land management, LSA, Carney lands, you name it.
I understand, but what I'm trying to figure out, and I don't want to disrupt the flow, because I will continue, but I'm just trying to figure out if there'll be any cross-threading, because at the end of the day, you're still the junior minister within a ministry. There is a minister who's in charge of the entire ministry, but yet still, you now will be responsible. The minister is no longer responsible for land management and survey functions. It now falls under a junior minister. But yet still you have to... No,
it wouldn't fall under a junior minister, Jason. What it does is it's now shifting the portfolio.
Or something new entirely.
Yes. It's shifting from, it's not so the Ministry of Agriculture, the portfolio of land is now shifting from the Ministry of Agriculture over to the Ministry of Legal Affairs, so that all of the land and civil matters that speaks to land acquisition, how people get land, the government's policy and laws and regulations as it pertains to the distribution of state lands, access and all of that, is now under the legal remit of the Minister of Legal Affairs. So there's a more streamlining of governance there and delivery of service in terms of, instead of having a minister of agriculture, fisheries and land, and then you have a junior minister, you just took the whole portfolio of land and shifted it to legal affairs, so that Minister Hussein is now the minister, the senior minister of not just legal affairs, but legal affairs and land, but also the junior portfolio in agriculture.
And that's why you're here for the clarity. I want to take it now to housing. David Lee no longer tasked with squatting housing and improvement grant policies, but many were asking,
Also land. Also remember that has to touch and concern land and how do you access land and the laws that pertain to the acquisition or the occupation of state lands. Again, it talks about housing, but before you build a house, you first have to have the land, and before you build anything, you first have to occupy the land. So again, all that is law with regard to land and how do we treat with land management, land distribution, land acquisition, and that sort of thing. So land.
Any shift with this reassignment? When it became public knowledge and you were going through the names and going through the different shifts and adjustments, anyone stood out? Anyone kind of piqued your particular interest? It had you, asking some questions?
Well, yes, because there's one specifically, and that's because I worked on that project back then for many years ago under her tenure. I worked on that project, and it was the National Health Card, and the National Health Card was directly aligned with CDAP and how persons accessed public health care, and so there was a vision there that the National Health Card was going to be streamlining and accountability and transparency in managing CDAP, and then also utilizing public health services, incorporating a new system and a new business model where a national health card allowed someone to access healthcare across public health centers and institutions, but that there was a greater digitization, full digitization, I should say, of their medical history across the public health sector, so that once you present yourself in any public health service, and your card was utilized. That was a long-term goal, that there would have been access to one's data and in medical records across the medical health facility service. But now with the former administration changing it to the National Health Insurance System, NHIS, I can now understand why it is going to Ministry of Finance from the insurance aspect. So one of the things I'm looking forward to hearing is how this new NHIS is going to work, taking into consideration what are the plans for it as it relates to national health surcharge and now that whole CDAP management. Is it that there's a change in portfolio, policy, a vision for that specific service? That's one. And what was also critical for me is the movement of the self-help responsibility from community development to now the Office of the Prime Minister. But again, that also has to do with land and helping people, get resources to really help themselves, sustain themselves. So, service orientation.
Well, I want to move further afield now to the budget. Many anticipate it's going to be on Monday, the 13th. What's your expectation? And is this, every budget is indeed a very important one, but is this particular budget a make or break? Is this a really pivotal budget that will more or less determine the next couple of years with this new administration? And how do they try to appease everyone, weather the storm, and at the same time balance the books in this very, I would say, tumultuous financial time?
Well, just let me start by saying that we have to understand that when governments change, that the human aspects, the actors that are involved in the new politics or the new change of administration, they should be allowed the opportunity to experience certain, and while in some people might say, well, so what, it's not important. It's very important. So one of the things that I think should have been allowed, and there should have been a level of maturity in understanding why it is important, is that how the Minister of Finance and or the Prime Minister chose to announce the reading of the first budget of the new administration. There should have been a sense of political maturity and communications and maturity in that dispensation of the announcement. So whoever is responsible for the way in which that announcement was made, taking away from the building up and the momentum in the announcement, needs to be dealt with in some form or fashion, whether so that's the first thing. Secondly, now, reading the budget is significant for a new administration, especially one that is coming in after 10 years. There's a lot of institutional changes. There's a lot of financial regulations, policies, approaches, innovative approaches that they would have envisioned, they would have thought of, they would have sought advice from various sectors. There would have been some levels of consultations and that sort of thing with key stakeholders, with key economists. And therefore, I expect that it is going to be systems reset. It is the understanding that there are going to be some promises that needs to be made, promises that were made that needs to be delivered, but at the same time, there's going to have to be a full explanation about availability of resources, what is available, how it is going to be used, what are the plans for it to be used in the short, medium, and long term, shifting utilizing Mr. Dukaran's words, all of these disequilibriums that exist in the economic framework, be it cyclical, secular, structural, how we bring some balance to that disequilibrium, and to what extent, taking from Dr. Sajiwan's perspective on us reeling from Dutch disease and that high dependence of one sector, what is the approach and what does the government intend to do with that whole diversification? I kept saying moving it from being an adjective to an action word or a verb, and also how do we not only build the economy, but how and what do we share to the population in terms of trickle-down effect?
Well, indeed, we'll have our post-budget analysis, so I look forward for us to have our early morning, chat, probably in the days ahead, but all the best until then, and let's see how things pan out with the budget 2025-2026.
Have a good one, Jason. Take care.
Same to you. That's Dr. Shane Mohammed giving us some perspective. We're going to take the pause and we come back with our daily health tip. See you soon.
At Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, we are committed to providing quality products for all major building projects. Let's build together with rebars and beams, BRC coils and mats, RHS and angles, roofing sheets and purlins, lumber, plywood and MDF. Bagwansing's, building homes, building communities, building TNT for over 60 years. Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, building value every day.
Southern Food Basket. Quality food to fill your basket. Get it all at Southern Food Basket. Fresh goods on every aisle with best prices. For the best market around, high quality meats pound for pound. Get the best for less, start shopping. Go to Southern Food Basket. Shopping how you like it. High quality at the best prices. Every aisle just wide and spacious. So spend less at Southern Food Basket. Good food at great prices for sure. Come get what you're looking for.
Period nights don't have to look like this. Move less, wake up to change. So change for a real night's sleep with Always Overnight. Its 3 times protection system absorbs, locks the fluid, and keeps it away from your skin. For protected nights without leaks. Always.
Welcome to ABC Doors and Windows, TNT's #1 destination for the best quality and widest variety of doors and windows. Enhance your space with our premium wooden, steel panels, fiberglass, and steel security doors, complemented by our aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows. Shop for the best quality and service at ABC Doors and Windows. Visit our impressive showroom at 1 Chancatrace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to get started. Trust ABC for a better choice.
4 minutes before 7, let's check in with our daily health tip.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth. Millions of people living with asthma, even something as simple as going for a jog, can become a struggle. Exercise-induced bronchoconstriction, or EIB, affects up to 90% of asthma sufferers. It's a condition where physical activity causes the airways to narrow, making it hard to breathe and even harder to enjoy life. While medications are effective, they sometimes come with side effects, such as rapid heartbeat, shakiness, or tremors, especially with high doses. That's why more and more people are turning to natural options that complement traditional treatments. Omega XL is a powerful natural supplement rich in omega-3 fatty acids, the kind that reduce inflammation, support lung function, and help you breathe easier. Backed by science, Omega XL's unique formula helps to reduce airway inflammation, improve breathing after exercise, lower reliance on asthma medication, and decrease the substances that make breathing harder. The truth is, our modern diets are overloaded with omega-6 fats, which can fuel inflammation. Omega XL helps rebalance that, providing your body with omega-3s from the green-lipped mussel, a source shown to deliver results without the fishy aftertaste or digestive discomfort. One study found that pharmaceutical-grade omega-3 fatty acids significantly reduced airway hyperresponsiveness and the need for medication in athletes with EIB. That's the power of omega-3s, and that's the promise of Omega XL. You shouldn't have to choose between movement and comfort. With Omega XL, you don't have to. Fuel your lungs with nature's anti-inflammatory. Omega XL, available nationwide at your nearest pharmacy, because asthma shouldn't stop your movement. Always consult with a trained medical professional before taking any supplements. The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Where health is wealth. We get ready for the 7 a.m. news update, and we come back. Open forum, the lines. Feel free, call, tell me what's on your mind, and then later on our Digipreneur and, of course, our conversation on cancer. See you on the other side.
Join Pastor Gino Jennings for our second Trinidad and Tobago Holy Convocation at the Centerpoint Mall, Centrum Auditorium, 325 Ramsaran Street, Chaguanas, Trinidad. Services are Saturday, October 11th at 6 p.m. and Sunday, October 12th at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Again, Centerpoint Mall, 325 Ramsaran Street, Chaguanas, Trinidad. Saturday, October 11th at 6 p.m. and Sunday, October 12th at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. For information, call 267-989-9189.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Jesse Ramday with headline news here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. TTPO says it has started processing over 51,000 social welfare checks received on Monday from the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. Managing Director Gregory Alexis told Guardian Media the checks, covering food support, disability grants, minor grants and senior citizens pensions, were handed over around 9:25 a.m. He said TT Post immediately began verifying, sorting and accounting for them, with internal checks expected to finish by Monday evening. Dispatch to TT Post's 76 offices across the country begins early Tuesday, with some deliveries expected that afternoon. The delay followed a late September malfunction in the National Insurance Board's equipment, which affected several key social assistance payments. In other news, the Trinidad and Tobago Blind Welfare Association is urging the Health Ministry to add essential sight-saving medications for glaucoma and diabetic retinopathy to the CDAP drug list. This follows Health Minister Dr. Lakram Bodo's announcement that new drugs for heart disease, hypertension, depression and high cholesterol will be included in CDAP from October 1st, 2025. The 2013-2014 National Eye Survey identified glaucoma, cataract and diabetic retinopathy as the leading causes of preventable blindness. Yet many patients struggle to access consistent treatment. The association highlighted frequent stockouts of prostaglandin analog eye drops at public hospitals, forcing patients to buy them privately at high costs, putting those who can't afford them at risk of irreversible blindness. And St. Benedict's College remains closed following last Wednesday's fire that forced the evacuation of students and staff. When contacted for an update yesterday, the Education Ministry indicated that it's awaiting the official report from the fire service before determining the next steps. The blaze began around 12:20 p.m. in the auditorium building at the back of the compound. A student alerted a teacher and everyone was safely evacuated to the nearby St. Benedict's RC Church. Preliminary investigations from the fire service had suggested that it may not have been accidental. Well, those were 7am News headlines. We'll have another news update at the top of the hour on the TBC Radio Network.
Would you recommend this product to younger people?
Age doesn't really matter. So I think if I was 17, 18 and I get introduced to these products, I would maybe be Superman. So
More Superman?
More Superman.
Absolutely outstanding.
Whether you're an athlete, a business professional, or simply someone who values their health, Omega XL can empower you to keep doing what you love. Don't let joint discomfort hold you back.
Live long, stay strong with the XL brand.
Muscle.
3 minutes after 7 on this Tuesday morning. Let's connect. 624-8721, 627-8658. It's open forum time, a chance for you to be part of the program, give some perspective, and shed some light on the leading topics and talking points of the day. Lots happening via the news cycle. I mean, yes, we could discuss budget and all what's happening with some of the shifts. But on the back page, again, just a little quick mention of the critical game ahead of us, Cardiff for Friday. And I want to wish the men's senior team the very best going into this must-win against Bermuda. Let's head to Rima. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Williams and your crew. I just wanted to touch briefly on the topic you carried on yesterday regarding the U.S. ships.
Yes.
I'm concerned. Yeah, that it almost comes across sometimes that the end justifies the means. Although I know the U.S. have a lot of technology to verify and use the intelligence, and so my question is, who's checking them to make sure that we don't cross over into the darker waters of people trying to do things that clandestine. It's almost like when at the international waters, it's almost like when pirates attack other people, and we want to make sure it doesn't reach a stage like that at any point in time. As you rightly said, if it hurts any legitimate people traveling, there's no indication that they said, well, warships tried to make contact with them, people running away. Maybe they use satellite, but kind of detect what's in the what cargo they're carrying. Because initial one, they said 11 people were killed. I was wondering, do they know if they were all men? Is it that they might have been people who've been trafficked? But I'm sure they would have done some sort of intelligence to determine who was probably and tracking them.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. I think there's a dangerous precedent if it continues for too long without somebody else being able to verify that it is in fact possibly people who, because the general public can't find out, but there must be some authority double-checking them. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Arima. Yeah, I mean, obviously, common sense will dictate that due diligence, due process, God forbid if a day, just thinking out the box here, and I'll let you go on come on now, but just thinking out the box. Let's say a day, one of them ships that blow up in the ocean, you hear that Trinidadians, they got it wrong. No, I'm not suggesting something like that will take place, but I'm just saying that will be kind of like a kind of watershed moment. So it's just, the U.S. will do what they have to do. As I said yesterday, there are rules and rulers, and clearly the U.S., they have been rulers for centuries. Superpower, as it were. Let's head to Shogunas, who's on the line. Welcome.
Pleasant to meet you, Jason.
Yeah, Shogunas, I'm listening.
All right. First of all, I would like to wish the
national team, the football team, all the best on the two upcoming matches, right? I still believe in Dwight York because even though that the performances will never bear so much fruit thus far, right? The playing of the game by itself, right? The 90 minutes, how they will play the game is not a reflection of the result, right? So I think Dwight York is doing a good job, right? I would just like to wish them all the best for the next two matches. I think they need to win at least one, right? To come out of them 2 matches with 3 points, right? So Jamaica want to seal this deal early, right? They want to seal it early, right? To get the first place, and the second place is a playoff, right? So if it is Jamaica win that game, then clearly by far and large, without a shadow of a doubt, the toss-up is the second position, right? Because they will go clear 9 points, right? Something I thought to touch on here is the budget that is coming up. I would like those relevant in authority to take into consideration the less fortunate people in society, right? The people who are on disability, the people who are like pensioners and everything, people who are not there where money is concerned, if you understand what I'm saying, right? Who are struggling to keep their head above the water. I mean, these things should be taken highly into consideration. Jason, I stopped smoking years ago, right? And I don't care if a cigarette going to $100 for one, right? If the increase of certain things had to be placed, right, let it be placed on these things. Understand what I'm saying? These luxury items, I would call it. Let a Caribou start with $15 if that is the case, and drop the prices of food, right? Have the prices of food drop. Like basic amenities I'm talking about, you know, rice, flour, sugar, butter, oil, right? We need these things. You understand what I'm saying? You see, you and I may be doing well, right? We will be doing well. But think about the people who are not doing well. Understand what I'm saying? Like, and we had to put these people first, because really and truly, if it is your tap your needs before your wants in society, what could you do? Yeah. All right? In connection with the political aspect of things, right? Relevant to the last call, I would have called too many concerns relevant to the warships and everything, but let us be mindful of the fact that we have some understanding as to what is going on, right? And we had to be mindful of the fact that it's the best interest of the people is being speak here. Understand what I'm saying?
Let me ask you: Do we really have an idea as to what's going on? Honestly, I feel this is a chess game that's being played above our level, and I think this is all part of moving the pieces, bro, towards something that is ultimately based on track record and what we have seen via U.S. foreign policy, a greater push for a greater ambition. I'm just, looking at, comparisons to other scenarios in the past.
All right. So if this is a chess game, Jason, I go move my bishop one step forward, and I will tell it it's right that a lot of people are against what the government is doing because it is probably a different style of governance, right? They say the best defense is attack, right? So we have to be focused on what is Venezuela's intentions, right? And we have to support Guyana because Guyana is a member of CARICOM, right? And we have to support Guyana, even if other nations within CARICOM not in support of this.
Well, Chigonas, I want to stick up in there for now. I want you to expand on it tomorrow. I want to get some more people in because, obviously it's open forum, so we want to get as many people in with the call. So from Chigonas now, we head to the west. Diego Martin, I believe, is on the line. Good morning, Diego.
Good morning, JW.
Morning.
Oh, God, Mr. Peter, have some mercy for people who waiting to get in, man. Good Lord. Anyway. You're the host, so you can't pay. JW, our authority for a tragedy to happen in that Tiaco area coming in Trin City. Why haven't they banned drones in this country? I mean, the Trin City area is supposed to be a no-fly zone. This thing is ludicrous, People could just send up drones anywhere in this country. This is madness. I mean, JW, I don't know if you could remember, customs had put a ban on toy guns years ago. You could remember that, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't bring in guns. I remember my son sent, those guns that you get bubbles from. He sent a gun like that and customs seized it. And they say it is banned, a bubble gun. So I am saying, but what they waiting? I don't know where these drones coming from. But I am saying the authorities need to ban those before we have a serious tragedy. So far, our country, our airlines has a track record of no incident when it's coming to plane crashes. I hope we could keep it. But those drones, they've got to watch that.
Thank you, Diego Martin. I mean, via the programs in these drones, there were pre-settings where certain sensitive areas, like the airport and other areas, you couldn't fly the drone. You couldn't even put it up. But Officer Gordon from the prison service told me apparently they lifted that earlier this year. So I guess that's why people taking them kind of chance and playing bad actor and trying to get stuff into the prison system via drones. But the powers that be, they're on it, and they said it's going to be something of the past. Let's head to Grandy for the final call this morning. Grandy, good morning.
Yes, morning to you, JW and Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
Now, JW, I don't think America really making a mistake because they have satellites that seeing things that probably we are really seeing, you know. Because I remember, and I always talk about it, remember I had a boat that left Trinidad with those citrus cans. And when it reached Miami, they followed that boat all the way. And when they reached Miami, the guys were busted.
Yeah. I mean, their technology is superior, without a doubt. It is right. Superior technology.
I don't think they're making a mistake with those vessels there, but no. You see the blowing up at the vessels, I think that is illegal, and I think they might be in other problems with that.
Well, I mean, they have superior technology for sure, but my thing is, you know, where is the evidence? I mean, people are just asking, people are kind of asking for a little bit more, as opposed to just a video of a boat blowing up, you know?
Right. You see,
I mean, human beings on board, Human beings on board. We don't know. So, God forbid, is one of our boats out there and that happened. I mean, I don't think we'll be singing the same song, you know. We might ask.
That is what I think. Yeah, you know. But I think they would be on the ball. But I think they should bring in the guys. You know, don't really, because I think they want to send a message. To Venezuela to where don't let all the drugs into our country.
But before
they need to do better than that.
But before we wrap up, Grandy, think about this part of it too. Those drug runners, I mean, them fellas are belly of steel. If I know that they're blowing up boat out of the water, I don't think I'm going to take that chance to be running any drugs. I mean, that is baffling to me that men still taking that kind of chance knowing the kind of firepower out there in the southern Caribbean Sea.
Yeah. I tell you, America have it on point. They call it the God's eye. You remember we used to see little pippins on it on I think it's Fast and Furious Past 6 or something like that. But that thing is real.
Yeah.
And I think America on point, but they want to send a message, but
well, trust me,
that is not the way. Yeah.
Well, they are sending a message indeed. Thank you so much, Andy. Thank you. And as I said, you know, there are rules and rulers. Clearly, they are rulers. Not everything a ruler will do is right. My thing is, who's going to speak up? Who's going to call and hold them accountable? And that's just the reality of the day, that many would see this stuff, and there will be rumblings, but not much is really done. And I guess it's a waiting game as to see what is the intention, what is the intent, what is the, you know, plan after this particular, you know, mandate of blowing up ships that are indeed considered to be drug runners. So let's see. I mean, I guess everything will be revealed in the weeks and months ahead. I hope it doesn't go into any all-out military engagement. And if indeed it's really to bring law and order, well, who could fight that? But I guess there always would be a due process, even when you're going down that road of law and order. So we'll stick up in there for now. We could obviously expand on that discussion and so much more tomorrow. The Digipreneur is standing by to give us details. That's right, we're going to head across to Thailand next with Karen Rose. Digipreneur, he's here.
Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to the Tire Clinic for the recession deals. That should big savings with our road hazard warranty on Dunlop 2021 Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Pleasant Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
Would you recommend this product to younger people?
Age doesn't really matter. So I think if I was 17, 18 and I get introduced to these products, I would maybe be Superman. So
More Superman?
More Superman.
Absolutely outstanding.
Have no fear, the digipreneur is here. Karen Rose joins us on the Zoom line. Karen, great to see you as always. Good morning.
Always good to tap in with you, Jason. Morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
That's right. We're going to head back to China for your experience there. I know you spent some time, and you would have mentioned, I believe this was the city you mentioned last week, Yiwu?
Yiwu, yes. This is one of the most important cities that most of us have probably never heard about, but we absolutely need to understand Yiwu City.
And you're saying this is basically a city where TNT could tap into and get to understand what's happening, because they are indeed the world's largest hub when it comes to I would imagine products, not so much services. They deal with wholesale, I would imagine, and businesses could go there and get their ball rolling.
They deal with the most amount of things. So what Yiwu City is, right? Yiwu is a city where it is the world's largest trading hub in the entire world, right? Now, China is a very massive place. And depending on what industry that you're trying to get into, whether you're trying to get into manufacturing, supply chain, and you go down further, what type of manufacturing you want, what type of supplies you want. All of these things are located all over China, making it like if you're trying to start, it's very complicated to start with China. So what they've done is they built a centralized city, which is Yiwu, as the largest trading hub in the world. This is like the national showroom of China. So when you want to meet manufacturers, when you want to meet the suppliers, rather than you trying to figure out what part of China to go, you start in Yiwu because everybody has a physical presence there. So whether you're talking about products, whether you are talking about services as well, right? Because they have a large amount of services in that city as well. Yiwu is a starting point, meet everybody there, and then the relationship could take you to different parts of China. But think of Yiwu City as the global, the national showroom of China.
So what's the process? You get there, you have to meet with a middleman, an interpreter. Is it that most folks there could speak the language of business, which is English? Just walk us through a day in Yiwu.
Okay. So Yiwu, there's a couple of ways to enter into the Yiwu market, right? So one of the things that everybody should pay attention to is every single October, right? So we're in October. The Yiwu Festival, the Yiwu Product Festival happens every single year coming on to the end of October. I think it's on the 25th and 26th of this month, right? This is where people from all over the world fly in to this just global trade hub, and it's an annual fair, and that's a good starting point right there. The second way to tap into Yiwu is they have a platform called ChinaGoods.com. ChinaGoods.com, and that has brought about, I have the figure list, I don't want to mix it up, right? ChinaGoods.com has brought in over 2.5 million products online from Yiwu that you can now access from their website. So you can go to ChinaGoods.com, you can meet all of the manufacturers and suppliers from that platform, and you can start to organize from there, right? Now, you asked a very important question. Do people speak English when you're dealing with them? So this is one of the things that I thought was brilliant just during my time in China. the Chinese government is pushing all of its business owners to be trilingual. They want people to know English and they want people to know Spanish because those are the two largest languages being spoken in the world. So what you now find is the most amount of business people who are speaking 4 and 5 languages just to be able to now, again, do business globally. So getting somebody who speaks English is not going to be a problem, which leads me to another point. There is a platform called shop.chilat. So it's S-H-O-P, shop.chilat, CHILAT.com, shop.chilat.com. This is one of the biggest sourcing agents in the country. So essentially, if you have a product idea, you can go to them and say, hey, I'm in this particular space. I'm looking to build this particular product. This is a company that specializes in helping you build your products and services from scratch. So they know all the manufacturers, they know all the suppliers. They have in-house designers, marketers, package designers, everything. It's a one-stop shop to bring whatever you are trying to create to life. And again, they have everybody on that team that speaks a multitude of different languages, and that's going to help you get started inside of China as well.
So I would imagine to conduct business there, is it that you have to tap into their financial structure? Could you use your credit card? Is it cash is king? You have to come with cold hard cash. How does one navigate the business now, the financials there in Yiwu?
Yeah, so this is how big Yiwu is. Yiwu has developed their own payment platform. So kind of think like PayPal, Stripe, WePay locally, First Atlantic Commerce, now PowerTrans. The city of Yiwu has developed their own payment platform. So you can pay through your credit cards. When you connect with the actual suppliers as well, they're going to have their own, they'll have additional ways to pay them. It could be bank transfers, it could be, Western Union, so you can pay them through a multitude of ways. But then the other beautiful thing about Yiwu and when you're getting started is that this is how we're going to scale. Right now, so many of our businesses are buying retail. So they're buying on Amazon, they're buying on Walmart, they're bringing all these things down, and then they're selling it retail, right? We can start tapping into Yiwu, right? So whether it's you're coming to the annual fairs, whether you're using something like a ChinaGoods.com, or whether you're using a sourcing agent like shop.chilat, we can tap into the largest source where products are coming from. And this is how we can now start to scale our businesses rather than always trying to buy retail and then sell retail.
Excellent. So you are saying it's really the proper starting point, even for, let's say, someone looking to get into business. This could be the starting point. You go, you see what you like, make your contacts, you do your networking, and that's your direct line. Or will it be that you use the starter that will take you now to a main course, where there's another city with other big production and commerce and service and items going on?
It's basically both, right? So because they're building Yiwu as the main showroom, right? There's another thing that's happening in about 2 weeks. I'm actually trying to see if I can get my tail over there to be a part of this launch. They're now rolling out the new Global Digital Trade Center. And the Global Digital Trade Center, I want to give you these numbers, right? They have invested $1.15 billion US, and this property, it spans, let me see if I have the numbers, I lost it, but it spans I think it's almost like 1 million acres. This is how big this entire global digital trade hub is, right? So they're making this massive investment. They want you to come down there to be a part of Yiwu. This is going to be the starting point, so you can either do business there, and that can take you to other parts of China. You could, like I said, you could use ChinaGoods.com. So even if you're not physically coming there, you can access goods and services online. But the best thing is, if you do get to come to Trinidad, and this is a cultural, sorry, not Trinidad, if you do get to come to Yiwu or China in general, they like to meet people face to face. They like to sit down. And when we talk about breaking bread with people, with China, they like to sip tea. They like to meet you face to face, shake your hand, drink tea, get to know you. And that's where the best bargaining is going to happen. So that's the biggest advantage to physically coming to China, right? What I would love to see, and I'm throwing this out there, Suriname, another Caribbean country, they have a 30-day visa-free access to China, right? And I'm saying to myself, we do so much business with China. Why doesn't Trinidad and Tobago have visa-free even for 30 days? Because if we can get at least visa-free for 30 days, it makes it even easier for us to just go to a place like a Yiwu, right? We could sit down, we can do business, we can drink that ceremonial tea so we can get the best bargains. And again, that's always going to be the best thing. But second best thing, if you can't make it to China, no worries. Check out the ChinaGoods.com. Check out the shop.chilat.com. And again, that's going to be a great starting point to get you started in building your business and scaling it.
What seems to be the hottest seller out there right now? I mean, obviously, you said it's a starting point. Is it that electronics is always a sure shot? Is it that home supplies? What you see as a real viable option right now? If one was to go with a good bit of capital, you go to Yiwu, meet with one of the suppliers, and just get your ball rolling to do your, wholesale. You buy wholesale, sell retail, and you could turn over your container, turn over your stock.
Funny enough, they said that one of the biggest exports out of Yiwu is mechanical parts and car parts.
Serious car. So you could even get car parts in Yiwu.
You could get anything. Anything can be got, and then on top of that, you're meeting manufacturers, so anything can be built from scratch.
So Yiwu is the place.
That is the starting point, and this is why I'm saying we need to be better friends with China. There is, and I'll talk about this at another time, right? China in Hangzhou City, this is where DeepSeek was created, this is where Alibaba was created, right? Jack Ma's university. They've launched the Caribbean Research Center of Development at Hangzhou University. They are studying us. Do you think we have anything that's on the ground here that's studying China and how we can start to really work with China and build with China? They're studying us to learn how to do business with the entire Caribbean. It should be us doing the exact same thing. There should be a Chinese Center of Business and Development or Research or whatever have you, where we are learning how do we tap into China, because we are not going to scale our business. There's no manufacturing in America, right? Yeah. Everything is coming out of Asia, and China is the starting point. We need to fully understand what our options are and then tap into that.
Even I would imagine introductory Mandarin should be something that we even consider. So at least we could have that rapport.
But Jason, in the malls, we were in one of the malls and we saw over 300 business owners learning English and learning Spanish inside of the malls for free. That is the level of commitment China has to building business globally. They are doing free classes of English and Spanish in the malls for business owners so that they can navigate the business landscape globally.
Wow, Karen Rose, sincere thanks as always. You, I think, many right now will be going on to Google, going on to YouTube to see firsthand. It's YIWU. Yiwu.
Yes, Yiwu City, and everybody remember ChinaGoods.com or shop.chilat.com. And again, every October, look out for that annual festival, because that is where millions of people come to Yiwu to meet and do business. And again, you're building products from scratch, you're sourcing products from all over China. That is the place that you want to go. And again, Trinidad and Tobago government, listen, if we need visa-free access for one place, I beg, 2026, give us at least 30 days visa-free in China. That'll help us tremendously moving forward.
Yiwu, thank you so much, Karen Rose. All the best, and we'll touch base, Godspeed, next week.
Next week, Jason. Take care.
That's right. The digipreneur, listen, I mean, the man is on the ball. He's out there, he's seeing firsthand what's going on, and he's sharing the knowledge, and I think that's so important. There are many who sometimes know what's going on, see what's happening, and they keep it to themselves so they can have the competitive advantage. Karen Rose, he is sharing this information with us so that we can check for ourselves and get our own momentum and get our ball rolling. Thank you so much, Karen Rose. Up next, conversations on cancer. Dr. Vasant, he's going to join me as always. Vasant Basdio, medical professional there from the Sultanate, and we are treating this week with breast cancer awareness. Dr. Basdio, up next.
basket. Food basket, nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. For everyday low price, things real nice. Come in once, but to come back twice. Wholesale, retail, everything for you. A real much of water, shop, flare, view. Food basket, the nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. Food basket.
Marketplace Champlain, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
Science calls it AMPK, your body's built-in system for burning fat, balancing blood sugar, and fueling energy. Berberine Plus naturally supports AMPK, helping you feel better, live better, be better. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, powerful results naturally.
Let the divine lights of the Dias bring victory over darkness into your life. Happy Diwali to all. A message from Kaleidoscope Paints Limited.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the mix. This is the life. Lock on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
Make sure you have yourself a great invest week by viewing The Boss Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view The Boss Report. CNC3, covering your world. Make sure you have yourself a great invest week by viewing The Boss Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view The Boss Report. CNC3, covering your world.
Conversations on Cancer this and every Tuesday. Dr. Vasant Basdio joins me for another impactful dialogue on, again, conversations, open and frank and honest conversations. And I'm seeing that you, with the pink ribbon there, obviously in solidarity with what is always a very important month on the calendar, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October here. And Dr. Basdio, great to see you as always. Welcome. I think he's frozen there, so we're going to just try to ensure the connection is yeah. Okay, fantastic. I think we're back in again. Doc?
Yeah, so Jason, my humble apologies. Internet can be a challenge sometimes. But yeah, look, it's Pink October, Jason, and here at the Cancer Society, we really want to empower our women and men to go out there and get screened for breast cancer, particularly not just for this month of October. We want this to translate throughout the year, that we don't just have all this hype, Pink October, and then it dies down for the rest of the year. This is something that is an ongoing battle that we face year-round, every day of our lives. Cancer does not choose a time of the year. Cancer does not discriminate in terms of who it chooses and what part of a society it affects.
And I know that from the stats and what you would have mentioned to me over the weeks and months, breast cancer impacts women based on all the different cancers. The most, like breast cancer, is the one that's at the top of the hill at this point in time, unfortunately.
Yeah, so not just worldwide, but right here in Trinidad and Tobago, we have the scientific data that breast cancer, both in terms of prevalence and mortality, meaning that it's the highest cancer that is amongst our women, as well as the highest amount of women dying from breast cancer. It continues to be that #1 cancer, ahead of things like cervical cancers of the womb and colorectal cancer.
At what age do you believe women need to do the little checkup, start having that conversation with their medical professional to ensure that they stay on top of things?
So I believe that annual checkups is a very important thing, especially for persons from the time you start reaching that age of 30. An annual checkup is important. Now, in terms of screening for breast cancer, like for instance, the World Health Organization recommends from the age of 50. However, the Americans and the American societies are saying as early as the age of 40. Particularly if you have a family history of breast cancer, and that's a first-degree relative, like a sister, a mother. These are things that you should really take note of in those family conversations. Hey, grandma had breast cancer, this one had breast cancer, I wonder what age they started at. And usually we say 10 years before your first-degree relative had cancer that you should start screening. So anywhere between the ages of 40 to 50, but it all depends on your personal history. It's not a standard screening guideline that just fits everyone, but it applies to based on your genetic history, your family history. Very, very important for you to consider these things to know when to start screening for breast cancer. Indeed.
Where is a good place for general information to just, for those who are curious, who want to do their research, could you lead us in that direction?
Sure, of course. The Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society, we have a health education committee, which I'm part of. And our website, we continuously update this website with information on all the major common cancers as well, and what types of screening modalities there are. You also have the Ministry of Health website here in Trinidad and Tobago, and there are leading websites that persons can go on, like the American Cancer Society, and places like the Mayo Clinic online, which gives fairly up-to-date and accurate screening guidelines and information about breast cancer, not just screening, but diagnosis, treatment, and even palliative care when it comes to breast cancer.
Women who live an active life, let's say, because I'm trying to think how the box here as it pertains to women and their daily routine. So if you live an active life, if your particular job or hobby takes you into a place of lots of contact, if there's a particular, if you was to say something was to hit the breast, could that bring on any particular issue if women feel any kind of changes in that regard based on just lifestyle and their particular pace and occupation?
Yeah, that's a real good question, Jason, because the most common type of cancer is ductal carcinoma in situ, which is there are two types of cancer that really affects either the tracts or the ducts of the breast or the parts of the breast that produce milk. There are also other types of cancer that affects the skin that are inflammatory cancers of the breast. And these are things like Paget's disease, and these are things like, thyroid tumor, all these other things. So where you may have trauma to the breast, so let's say you're in a certain lifestyle and you notice that there's a sort of area that is affected based on your lifestyle, let's say movement, sports, contact, things like that. Any changes to the breast regions should be assessed by a health professional, because what you may think that, hey, this was just due to a trauma or a little lash or something like that, as we say in Trinidad, it may be signs of cancer that you are mistaking for, hey, I just went here and I did this exercise or I did this event, and that is attributed to that. So any changes to the breast, that is urgently needs to be assessed by your physician or healthcare professional.
So, we always speak to survivorship. We speak in the context of hope and letting folks know that they can't get over the line. So if you can walk me through the chronological order of diagnosis to treatment to being cured for those looking on, so that they can get understanding that this could be something that once you catch it in time, you can win the battle.
Certainly. So let me see how quickly and concise I can do this. Look, breast cancer typically is affected by a hormone called estrogen. And even things like insulin resistance affects how aggressive breast cancer is. So what we're saying is that exercise, which lowers that impact on these breast tissue by estrogen and insulin, diets that are less inflammatory, all these things help prevent cancer in the first place. So there's a lot that you can do, even if you have a genetic history, to prevent cancer. Now you go on to get screening. Now good screening happens before you even have symptoms. So don't think that only if you feel something, then you have to do screening. Screening means you have no symptoms, you're at the age between 45, 50, around there. Go get your annual mammograms or your breast ultrasound, depending on the age you start. Now let's say that mammogram or breast ultrasound picks up a lesion. That lesion will be reported by the radiologist, who will then say, this thing looks suspicious, let's take a biopsy. The biopsy is then performed by the interventional radiologist, sent to the lab, and it's then determined whether this is cancer or not. From there, they will do the testing of the tissue of this breast cancer tumor, and they will tell you what types of receptors are on this cancer, whether you have HER2 receptors, estrogen, progesterone receptors. So it kind of shapes and guides the treatment. Then after that point of diagnosis, you go on to the general surgeons or the breast surgeons. They will then determine, based on doing a CT scan of the upper chest, the abdomen, how far this cancer has spread. Is it stage 1, 2, 3, or 4? Generally, stage 1 and 2, the surgeon's going one time. When it's metastatic, though, that's where the adjuvant therapy, such as chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and palliative care comes in. But many times the surgeons choose to start with chemotherapy or radiotherapy to shrink the mass before they do the surgery, to remove everything entirely. So again, we emphasize early detection is better. They have better outcomes. The earlier we get to this cancer in the earlier stages, there's more likely the chance of a cure and this individual becoming cured from breast cancer.
Dr. Basdio, as always, a sincere thanks for coming on, for sharing with us much needed information. And I know there's going to be lots of activities during this month of October. Different corporate entities, everyone is you know, I know that breast cancer awareness is a big one on the calendar, so we look forward to all those who get involved. And as always, sincere thanks. Let's keep the conversation going next week.
Thanks a lot, and always a pleasure being here in Trinidad and Tobago. Let's be on the lookout and get screened early for breast cancer and all cancers by extension. Yep.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Sincere thanks there to Dr. Vasant Basdio. I'm so happy because up next, we're getting a chance, at least for me, for the first time, to touch base via the show here with Archbishop Jason Gordon. He's stepping in to discuss the Festival of Hope. Archbishop Gordon up next.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Whether you're an athlete, a business professional, or simply someone who values their health, Omega XL can empower you to keep doing what you love. Don't let joint discomfort hold you back.
Live long, stay strong with the XL brand.
Muscle Russell.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Well, I am so happy because when I saw the Archbishop, I think we had a discussion, could have been some months ago, and I said, Archbishop, it would be such an honor to have you on the program. And he said, you know, well, I would love to be there, but I have early morning mass and all that. And, well, I guess the timing was able to work out. So amazing this morning, and it's a pleasure to have you because we are treating with, of course, the Festival of Hope, but let me offer a sincere welcome to the set, Archbishop.
It's good to be here on your set.
Yes.
And to be here with you.
Yes, you know, it's quite a joy. How was, before we get into the Festival of Hope, how was the harvest and the celebration on Sunday in St. Joseph?
Was wonderful.
Yeah.
As always. I mean, many stores, many people came out. My only complaint is the doublers ran out before I got. But apart from that, it was brilliant. It was just really, really good.
Yes, because Father Woodruff was actually here last week and he mentioned that you were going to give the service on Sunday. And I myself would have gone down to where I spent my formative years, Erin, which is St. Francis, the parish there, for their harvest on Sunday. So Sunday was a busy day.
You had to make a choice, north, south, east, or west.
That's right. That's right. And, well, I guess this particular activation, there's no No choice, really. It's a fantastic time. It's one particular venue, and it's all part of the Jubilee celebration, and we're dealing with the Festival of Hope Center of Excellence. Tell me about the location. Why Center of Excellence?
You know, what we found, we have people coming from Toko and from Carcass. You have to find somewhere that is kind of midpoint where people can gather. But you also need a place that is big enough, because we're using these 3 halls in Center of Excellence.
Wow.
So there's a big thing. There's a big thing.
Yeah.
So you need something big enough that you can host everything in one location. And so that's why we went there, because it allows people to come from all the different parts of Trinidad to there.
And I'm seeing it's from the 10th to the 12th, Center of Excellence. I'm seeing that, well, Archbishop, you will be there for the formal opening ceremony.
Yes.
So that's on Friday.
So we have, on Friday evening, we have a procession from Tunapuna RC Church, and coming to the Center of Excellence, bringing the Eucharist.
Excellent. So from the main road, you're going to come up, and yes.
So it's a Eucharistic procession to the Center of Excellence. We'll install the Eucharist in the chapel in the Center of Excellence. On the Friday evening, we'll have a holy hour and a few words and a blessing of the people there. Then on the Saturday morning, we'd start with Mass for all of the staff at 7 o'clock. And then at 9 o'clock, people will be invited to come. And at 10 o'clock, we have the official ceremony for the opening, which is going to be a wonderful event. It's not going to be long, but it's going to be impactful.
I'm seeing there's going to be some interfaith prayers also?
Yes.
Who are some of the other,
those details I didn't reach to me yet. I just know the concept.
Yes. So there's going to be, because I'm seeing interfaith prayers, I'm seeing cultural performances.
Correct.
Music, I would imagine.
A lot of music.
Yes.
A lot of, and then different interactions. In the center, we have one space that's going to have, all your media and storytelling, and also the stage, and your whole communication and entertainment part. There's another section we're going to have our young people with activities for young people and things for them to be able to interact and experience. In one part, we have the Jubilee boat, where everybody would want to get a selfie taken.
Yes.
And then the third part of it will have the chapel with the Blessed Sacrament, reconciliation available by priests all day, and also we will have a labyrinth. Now everybody say, what is a labyrinth? A labyrinth is an ancient way of praying. On the ground, it's marked out, and you walk it. You become a pilgrim on the labyrinth.
Okay, understood.
And you move from the outer circle to the inner circle. And as you're walking the labyrinth, you are praying, you're breathing, and you become conscious of God. And in the walking, it helps you to move from the outside of your life to the inside of your life. Yeah. From the exterior to the internal.
To the interior.
So we're going to have the labyrinth there, which is another way of praying. So we're going to have multiple ways of praying. All the different commissions of the church, family life, social justice, our work with refugees, our work with liturgy, our work with all of it. All of it. Education is going to be a big part of the booth. All of the works of the church are going to be there with interactive displays and allowing people to come and ask and see and experience. And the whole thing is designed as an experience. Come with your families.
Of course, yes. And really, embrace a day, 3 days rooted in fellowship, worship, renewal.
Yes.
And it's under the umbrella of the Archdiocese of Port of Spain. But as you rightfully said, you're taking this, Archbishop Gordon, to a central location. Because, yes, there are many locations in town. You could have had this in Port of Spain, but you decided to take it most people from Central, South, from far removed, as you would have mentioned, Grandy and beyond, could be there in the same space.
Come into that space.
Fantastic. Obviously, start time, I guess where can one go online to kind of really see the schedule and see
CatholicTT.org.
Wow.
You'll find the information there. But one other thing I want to say, when you come in, walk with a little bag of non-perishable items.
Yes.
Because we're doing a collection for the poor.
Fantastic.
And we want to make sure it's not just about understanding, exploring, and celebrating things Catholic. One of the things Catholic that has been so consistent is we always reach out to those who have nothing. And we want this event to impact those who have nothing also as part of our celebrating.
And that will be collected at the door itself, I would imagine. You'll have your bins and all
bins and so at the door. So when you come in, you'll be able to put it there in the bin and make your contribution. Now, this is part of the whole year of Jubilee. And a Jubilee year comes every 25 years. And it's a time where we forgive debt. It's a time where in Israel, the land goes back to the ancestral owners. It's a time where we celebrate and we lie fallow for a while. We allow everything just to go into a different pace. So this year of Jubilee, we've had the sacred sites and lots of people with their passports been going around on their pilgrimages to sacred sites. We had the Eucharistic Congress, and now we're having the Festival of Hope. So those were the two big moments in the Jubilee, but lots of people have been on pilgrimage to all the 7 sacred sites around the diocese. But this one, we really want people to come. Come and celebrate Jubilee, come and celebrate mercy, come and celebrate what God has done for us and through us as church.
Archbishop Jason Gordon, such a joy, a real honor to have you on the program. I know this is going to be a really impactful weekend, and we employ all those looking on from far, wide, and removed to embrace this festival of hope. 3 days, this entire weekend there at the Center of Excellence, a chance for faith, fellowship, renewal, a chance to reconnect, as you rightfully said, from that external to the internal experience. Yes, indeed. Father, great
I'm
to see you.
looking for you. Huh?
Well, I have no choice.
No. I'm marking your face.
No, I'll have to be there, and I'll come up and say, Father, I'm here.
Good.
Yes. All right, indeed. Thank you so much, Archbishop Jason Gordon, touching base with us. And on that note, we make our exit. A great, great program as always. You know, every day we're given a gift, and that gift is choice. And let's try with that gift to do the right thing. God spare. I'll be back for more tomorrow, right here on The Morning Brew. Have a great day, TNT.
The Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.